Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Hobo Hero. Well, it's let's see, it's been about a year and probably 7 months since I've been doing this full time, and I got to tell you that there's a growing pains in this, and me being a full-time RVer, and I will make that term loosely because there's a lot of people who are doing this full-time that actually are doing this full-time. This is their full-time gig, where I'm cheating a little bit. I work as a firefighter paramedic, and I'm a bit of a overtime whore, so I'm not truly in my RV living here 7 days a week, so to speak. Especially during the summertime. This is the time where I make my money. This is my overtime. I make the money, and usually during the winter times, are my lean months where, I only got 2 days a week, so I'm living on my second check, on my base pay, which can be a pretty thin check. So I hate to say that I'm a full timer per se, but this is my only residence. Like I said, I have a UPS address that I use, but for the most part, this is it. In hindsight, I could have and should have and would have done a lot of things differently, but being a new to this, there's a lot of anxiety about getting into this whole thing, and trying to figure it out, and I see people do it now. I see people who are live in their vans, and live in their cars, and I thought about living in RVs for a year before I even got into this. I did my research online and YouTube a lot of stuff, and sort of weeded out the glamorous, the people who sort of glamorize the hobo life, as I call it, or full-time RV, full-time van lifers, because, I know it's nothing glamorous about this. There's nothing cool or glamorous about it. But it is a struggle, but it's a struggle that, if you're willing to deal with it, it's rewarding, because, for me, financially, it's a great struggle because it's low impact. And especially during the COVID times where, maybe, getting shifts wasn't that available. During the COVID season last year, everybody didn't want to be home with their families and stuff. So guess what? They went to work. So a lot of those guys who goofed off during the summertime and took out their boats and hung out and with the vacations and stuff, you couldn't do that because everything was on lockdown. So guess what they had to do? They had to come in and work. Because most of those guys did not want to be around their families at all. And I'm not saying anything about it. It is what it is, But anyway, so unfortunately for me, those guys who normally would take off and goof off and bang out sick or catch what I call the blue flu, that was my opportunity to make money. But this year's not too bad. Everybody's getting back in the swing of things, and so I can make my money now. Not as much as I don't. It's not as profitable as it should be, but hey, you gotta take every little bit of check you can while you can, but again, with this whole RV life and lifestyle, you gotta learn how to be a minimalist. You gotta learn how to unplug yourself from the matrix per se. Like things like having a TV. I have a TV in my RV camper, but I rarely use it. I can barely get the reception in here. And then unfortunately, Campers World, the guy there ended up screwing up my electrical system to the point where I can't even use my my plug-ins without using my generator, or plugging into an outlet, which is useless because I got freaking solar panels on my RV and I can't use my outlets. And of course, freaking Campers World will not return my calls, and I just end up giving up because now it's full season of camping season. I'm pretty certain even if they even took my calls, by the time they saw my RV, it's going to be October anyway. So I'm gonna try to just suck it up, deal with it, and then hopefully in October I can get them to correct the problem. Now I know they're gonna pretty much BS me and say, oh, we never caused this, and they're gonna try to charge me to fix the problem they caused in the first place. That'll be a new bugaboo and a new uphill battle I have to go through eventually. But as of now, I'm going to ignore it and just put up with the situation I'm in now. Ultimately, I'm not really in my RV that long anyway, because I try to stay active and busy. You know, I'm not one of those guys. When I was in my apartment, when I came home from work, I chilled in my apartment. I was a homebody. I stayed in and played video games all day. I would, you know, be there and, you know, playing hours on hours and playing Skyrim and, you know, Diablo 3 and, you know, Fallout or whatever. You know, I love sandboxes, and that's my thing. You know, but since I don't have the ability to do that any longer, I've gotten out and, you know, become more active, start, you know, focusing more on my martial arts and, you know, trying to recover my lost kung fu that I've lost, and trying, you know, as a young guy, trying to recover that, and still like focus on my jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, you know, to make me like say a better person. You know, martial arts, you know, sometimes, you know, you can, in this particular lifestyle, you know, if you sit around do nothing, you can get a little crazy. You know, you can get a little sad or depressed. You can start doubting yourself. Whereas, you know, I go out and have that human interaction, you know, you start to feel a little normal, a little human, you know. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know. It's a good thing, you know. But that's, you know, some of the things, some of the trials you have to go through in this lifestyle. I normally would, you know, cook. But I've been so lazy, man. I gotten away from cooking in my RV now. I'm more of a takeout kind of guy. I hate to say it, you know, and I should be cooking more often because I would save at least, you know, a couple $100 just on food if I cooked. But I don't. You know, I pretty much will, you know, do like a simple breakfast in the morning, and then I'll do takeout at nighttime or something like that. You know, I've been doing pretty well with the overtime, so now I don't really, I guess in a way, like I figure I make so much money now that I don't really need to save the money. You know, I can just splurge on myself a little bit, treat myself to, you know, to a quality, you know, cooked meal somebody else does, and, you know, I don't have to worry about washing dishes and wasting water. I can just throw everything away when I'm done. You know, after all, if I wanted to cook and wash dishes for myself, you know, I'd have a girlfriend, so I could do it for myself. It's not a knock at my ex-girlfriend. Okay, a little bit it is. And the ex-wife. But whatever. So, let's see. Let's count some regrets. Some things I could have done differently with this whole RV. Honestly, if I would have, hindsight, I had 14 grand saved up. I should have just took the money, bought a used RV that was like 10 or 20 years old or whatever, and then fixed it up, put the fucking 10 grand in it, and I would have been debt free. Unfortunately, with this RV, I got it for like 45, everything, taxes, all that stuff. It came out to be 50 grand. Went in a bank. This bank is like, got me really good with this. Some finance charges goes, I think on my APR is like 8%, which is through the roof. It's highway robbery. They're literally like gouging the shit out of me. And, you know, and I knew that. I knew that. There's no crying. I knew what it is, because my plan was to like just pay it off as soon as possible. But, you know, just the fact that they're, you know, they're collecting $10 a day in interest. So 10 times 30 days, that's $300 a month they collected interest on me. So if you know, they making their money. And God forsake you if it was the other way around. There's no way any bank I can make, you know, $10. If I put, you know, 20 grand in the bank, I'm pretty certain nobody's ever paid me, you know, $200 a month to store my 20 grand. Nobody, you know. But for some reason, they can rob the shit out of you, because that's what banks do, you know. But they always need a bailout, and it's you and my taxes that bails them out. But God forsake you if you know you need a bailout. That's another story. We won't get into, we won't get into that. tinfoil hat goes on, you know, whatever. So yeah, that would be my first bugaboo. Second, you know, I think really just, you know, be more courageous and start doing things myself, fixing things myself. You know, you get an older RV, just, you know, you won't be inclined to take it to a dealership and have them charge up their yin yang and then fuck it up. I mean, if it's fucked, I might as well just do it myself. I can fuck my own shit up. I don't really need them to do it for me. But, you know, here we are. You know, the only good thing about, you know, getting the whole package and stuff was, you know, you get insurance, and insurance was supposed to cover the majority of it. But, you know, I still end up paying there like $100 some odd because I'm still paying the mechanic first time, whatever. Even if I don't pay for the parts, you're still paying for the labor, and you know, you still, you know, you drop $180, $200 on, you know, repairs that, you know, you think that you're paying insurance for. It should cover it, but, you know, here we are. I do like this model RV, but the thing about this particular Ford Econoline 350 is this is the last model. They didn't make any more models after 2018. So if I need parts or something like that, man, you know, it's either, you know, you go to junkyards, or it's you know, you got to call on some guy and have them look for these parts. Whereas if they were making, now they're transitioned to the transit models, those you know, the Euro style vans, RVs. So, you know, that's another thing. I like the power in this baby. You know, she's got pretty good get up and go. You know, maintenance, it is what it is. You know, I try to keep her up, maintain. I try to keep the engine, you know, sharp and fresh. Oil changes when they need to be done. You know, I put the best synthetic motor oil and stuff like that because, like I said, you know, this is my home. I need to take care of it. I need to protect it. So, you know, longevity. But busting my ass to, you know, with the overtime to like pay off my debt quickly, because I would like to pay this damn thing off within 5 years, and that's what you have to do is just, you know, put the overtime in, drop a couple grand here, drop a couple grand there, because literally, like if I give them the bare minimum, I think my payments are like, you know, $520 a month. 300 of that is interest, literally interest. That I'm only literally covering the two something a month for, you know, the payments, and that's not good. That's pretty freaking bad. That's awful. But you know, so you got to do a little bit more. You got to throw a little bit more in there and make sure that everything is, you know, make sure they get it. Keep tabs on them. Make sure everything is squared away, so they're not screwing you and saying, "Oh, I didn't get it," and play the game. You know. You know, sometimes it's hot, so you know you got to deal with that. But I acclimatize pretty quickly. And winter times it's cold. You know, you got to deal with that. You know, but like I said, I mean, you know, and like I said, it makes you freaky a little bit because you get there, you acclimatize to the cold, and you know, I don't have to worry about wearing jackets and, you know, big heavy jackets anymore because I'm so used to, you know, being cool. And I mean, I like it when I sleep. I like it cool because I sweat like a son of a bitch. You know, I'm sweaty as I'm a sweaty guy. We'll leave it like that. We'll try to keep it clean. You know, try not to be too salty on this. So you know, that's another thing. Gas, you know, right now gas is expensive, but you know, if I do like long road trips and stuff, I have my Honda Pilot, so I usually use that. It's a little cheaper. It's not too bad. I always fill my RV literally like twice a week at max. Not even that. Sometimes if I work a lot, I don't even fill it up. I fill like once or twice a month. Depends on how hard I'm working, you know. And so even if I had to fill it up, yeah, it cost me like $120 to fill it up. It's not a big deal because I work so much overtime. I don't really feel it, you know, so to speak. So it is what it is. And you know, so far, you know, this bad boy, you know, the old hobo here is pretty reliable, dependable, and I haven't had any major problems with it. It's just, you know, it's the camper itself. Yeah, you know, it's fallen apart 2 years now. It's just constantly shaking and banking, you know, bamming down the road. You know, you can hear it back there rattling, and everything's getting loose. You know, it's got the little leaks here and there. You know, everything's falling apart. You know, the cabinets are shaking a little free, and you know, but they don't make them good. They slap them together, and they cover everything over and they make it look pretty. And these are not really meant for long-term use, especially not everyday use. Whereas like I think a van, like a Class B would be better. But with a Class B, oh, actually I shouldn't have. Well, we'll see what happens. With a Class B though, you know, it's like whatever, you know, it's one solid structure, so it'll survive the event, I think. Even though Class Bs have their own problems, and the big problem for me is I'm sort of a husky guy. It's tight for me. And then, you know, if I have my kids come over, it's even worse. It's just not meant for me and my kids that'll stop over, hang out with me for, you know, on the weekends and stuff. It's just not, it's not good. You know, and they're expensive as hell. You know, I didn't realize how expensive a Class B RV would be. You know, Class C is definitely the better the bargain. It's more room, you know, got a lot more, you know, it's more functional from a guy my size, and it's cheaper. And you can't beat that, you know, because I'm a cheap Charlie, so it is what it is. Other than that, that's it. I want to try to, I don't want to ramble on too much, guys, but like I said, I know I haven't done a video in a while, and I figured I'd just share my quick experience on, you know, the RV life, and, you know, hopefully, you know, anybody who's making the plunge, don't be afraid, just do it. You know, no matter what you think, you're going to get used to it, and that's why you're going to love it. You're going to love saving the money. This is like COVID proof. This is like for people who are, you know, trapped in COVID, don't have a job, or making a very low income. Man, an RV, you know, your rent's cheap. You know, you get, if you have a good credit score, man, you keep your APR down, and you know, it's a way to go. You know, that's all I can tell you. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a great day or a great night wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, stay happy, and of course, I'll see you soon. God bless you all. Bye now.